Hello, leaders, change makers. Welcome. My name's Golden Johnson, founder of House of Gold, published and certified strategist for mindset, for leadership, for business development, and digital legacy. I'm here to make sure you enter your next best phase, basically. So if you're new here, I would love for you to join me on this journey of curating your digital legacy, refining your mindset, and getting unshakable confidence so you can make the right decisions to future-proof your success. Right now, I am in Arosa, Switzerland. Who knew the business would get this far? I'm based in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and now I'm in Switzerland, and I just finished 3 workshops. And I'm going to share some insight on the journey, on things that came up in the workshop, and share some strategies and tips for you to move on with. So I'm not going to name any names because all my workshops are private, confidential, and with the utmost respect. I do not want to share any information that compromises someone's growth, someone's journey. And so I'm just going to speak very general, okay? So one thing that I realized when I had a meeting, one of my meetings was with an organization, and they were very stuck in this box because of the members, because of the history of the brand. So one thing that I love is a legacy brand, a brand that has been around forever or wants to be around forever. And this organization has been around for a very long time. There are very old, prestigious, respectable people in this organization. However, they're not open to the future and what's to come. You see, this organization had a lot of challenges when it came to upkeeping the brand, the voice, the mission. There wasn't a lot of strategy going on. They did have team members all having different responsibilities in their life, and they all coming together as volunteers to create this beautiful membership and organization. One thing I know for sure is if you're not going to partner with AI, you are going to have a hard time. Second things for sure is if you are not going to work on that mindset to be a growth mindset, to be a solutions mindset, to see different perspectives despite the box you're in, it's not going to work. And thirdly, if you are not in an embodiment of confidence of things working out despite the challenges and roadblocks that you have going on right now in your creative project, in your team, in your organization, in your business, in yourself, you are going to have challenges. So that was a key takeaway that I took from the workshops that I've done. And I noticed that, again, people in organizations must be really hard to work with, right? Everyone has their vision, their view. They want to keep everything the same. They don't want it to change too much because ultimately change in a legacy-minded organization is not the best. It's not always the best, and I do not recommend a dramatic change. However, I do always recommend how you perceive in the back end. So, for example, they were having challenges with putting out content on their social media. They're not really a social media organization anyway, but they're trying to change, right? They're trying to evolve. And so they don't have a strategy. They don't have a voice. They don't have a brand. They don't even have their colors, but they're posting. And then now they're wondering, well, nobody's interested. People aren't interested in this organization. And then that ultimately develops limiting beliefs. When something you're doing in your business or in your life isn't working the way you want to, it's not there for you to start to agree with what's going on. It's there for you to step back and say, okay, what is this thing that I have? What are the challenges that I'm having and experiencing right now? And how can I move it just a little bit to the next phase, right? It doesn't have to be dramatic because especially when you're working with teams, not everyone's going to want to be moving as fast paced as possible. So with that being said, I definitely recommended them to start their brand strategy and start developing their voice, start developing the history, the richness of the organization, and start to inject that, not in post and content right away, but in a document. This document is going to really help you message properly, talk to your audience in a way that resonates with them, where they're craving more of the information, and ultimately having you feel extremely confident about what's going on in your organization. The thing is that if you don't have a blueprint, It's not going to work no matter what. Okay, and this comes from my background in interior design. When it comes to architectural drawings, when it comes to floor plans and things like that, before that even gets rendered and designed, you need to know what and who this is for. And if you already have an organization or a team that's already been operating, there is so much data there that you can start to audit. A lot of people don't audit their brand. A lot of people don't audit the history, the richness of their organization, their teams. They don't audit each individual. What are their gifts? Who has the best skills, or who has a weakness, right? The more you audit on the micro level of your organization, the more you're going to have extreme clarity on how you should position yourself online. And because they didn't do that, this is why I had to come in and enter them into their next best phase. So I share that with you because I know right now you probably have a lot of information. You probably have a lot of strategies you tried. You probably have some team members that you may need to let go of, or you may need to refine, audit, see where their true skills lie and pivot them there, because you have data, and data is honestly the most important thing in the world. It's how your mind makes decisions. It's not the beliefs that make the decisions. It's the data that you have that your mind logically says, okay, I have this, let's do that, right? Stepping into that more and then stepping out of limiting beliefs is really going to position you for success when it comes to strategy. So these are the boring things that people don't want to think about. They want to think about, things that go out in the front facing end, but the back end, once you do the back end work, once you develop that mindset, once you develop that brand strategy, once you develop how and where you want to show up online, that is ultimately going to solidify and future-proof your business, your mission in the future, right? So with that being said, I just want to share another key takeaway, a story that I have, and I think it's going to help you. I think it's really going to help you start to audit your brand. So let's talk about that. I had a client, a refining session recently, and they had a brand. They're a consultant. They want to use their gift, their voice, their experience to make money. Amazing. That's why I'm here. So the thing is, though, is she was very shy. She doesn't want to show up online. She doesn't want to post anything. She just wants to do it, right? The one thing when it comes to starting your consultancy, because it's something that I support many people in, is you want to know who you are and what you want to leave behind. What do you want to be known for? Now, it's not you being known for that for the rest of your life, but it is a start. You see, I started with mindset work. I started with counseling and coaching women, trauma, breaking generational patterns, breaking their habits, addictions, making them step into their next best phase. And now I am partnering with government organizations, working with small businesses, and aligning them towards future-proofing their success online. Do you see how night and day this is? How did I go from trauma coaching to business development and consulting strategy? It's because the same message is true. The message is I want to be here to lead people better than how I find them, set them up for digital legacy, and ensure that they have unshakable mindset to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. People are like, oh, well, that's kind of like broad, right? I make the niche. My ideas and posts, the things I share, the things I go through and move through make my niche. A lot of people are too busy looking at what other people are doing and then taking things from them and then putting it in themselves. That is not how you're supposed to do this. If you want to create a digital legacy, a brand that is going to stand the test of time, where you are the original, the originator, people are watching you for your next steps, you for your expertise and speciality, this is what you're going to want to do. Number one, I want you to audit your skills. What are you good at? Write them all down. And I mean everything. It doesn't mean you're going to be doing it. You're just simply brainstorming what is there and what you already have. So write down what you're good at, what experiences you have, what skills you have. That includes certifications, educational backgrounds, degrees. That can include maybe just your passion. Maybe you spent 10 years researching on a topic. I know I have, especially when it came to nutrition and evolving out of sickness and solidifying health, right? That was just a personal hobby I had. List them all down and then start to think about what can you do every single day for the rest of your life. Now, doesn't mean you're going to do it for the rest of your life, but it's a start because that's how you want to be thinking. Can you talk about this topic for the rest of your life or the next 10 years? Number two, after you write down all the good things that you have, all the gifts you have, the skills, the dreams, whatever that may be, you want to start to pursue more. The second thing you want to do is to write, what don't you have? Do you have confidence? Put that. I am insecure. Put all your limiting beliefs down because you need to know both sides of the coin. If you only know one side, you are delusional to just go into that and actually get success. And I mean the wrong delusional, not the good one. So once you do that, you're going to want to be aware of what you're not good at, what limiting beliefs you have. And you don't have to know why and where and how. You just need to know if you have it or not. For example, I had a limiting belief that people did not care about bettering themselves because of the experiences that I had and because of the situations I was in. I was always the one to remind people, hold people accountable, hold people responsible, and myself included. I treated people exactly how I treated myself, which is with the utmost respect, the utmost accountability, and the utmost, I would say, trust in the process of getting better. But I quickly realized that people would rather go to the club every day. They would rather gossip. They would rather talk about other people, and they would rather, stop their whole life to watch TV, stop their whole life at a specific point of the day to watch other people make money, sports, all these things. And I'm in my head, I'm like, you're struggling with this thing, but you're deciding to pause and entertain external factors that don't even help you or benefit you in any sort of way. It's more so entertainment, right? That's when it really started to form in my mind. Wow, people would rather be entertained than elevate, where I rather elevate than entertain. And so that allowed me to take myself out of the situation, unplug from mediocrity, unplug from the noise, the trends, the way of life. I unplugged from that because once I saw that I wasn't benefiting from being in those environments, it allowed me to pivot in a place of, okay, where do I want to be? And here's one place I would love to be, in Switzerland, in the mountains. And that all came from micro steps and choices, from my mindset first. So if you want to have a successful business, you're going to have to do the work of auditing who you are, unplugging from mediocrity, taking yourself out of situations that truly do not put you in a place of abundance and confidence. Okay? So now that you got those two things out the way, the third thing I want you to do is write down the ideal lifestyle you want to live. What does that look like on a day-to-day basis? For me, I want to wake up and catch a flight somewhere and speak to a group of inspired people who are obsessed with changing their circumstances and evolving their business structure. I want to take a flight somewhere and be on the beach and then have a call one-to-one with a very ambitious change maker in a different country who too knows that they need help and strategy on refining what they have, whether that may be their brand, how they show up online, the strategy that they're using to curate professional contacts, networking strategies. I do it all. And so therefore, I want to be able to help other people globally on a day-to-day basis for the rest of my life. That's what I want to do. That's why we're here talking. And so have that sit down with yourself. Like, what do you want to do? Be honest with yourself. It can look like anything. I'll name you 5 things that I love to do that's really starting to become a lifestyle, because success is a lifestyle, not a destination. The number one thing I love to do is travel. So what do? I place my digital legacy in front of people in different countries and pitch myself to them. Number 2, I love food. I used to call myself a foodie, but I'm a gastronomist now. I'm in my gastronomy era where I really want to learn, why are they making it that way? What's the history behind this dish? And I actually got introduced to that here in Switzerland, so it's something that I'm going to take with me moving forward. And if I wasn't here, I probably wouldn't even be in this era of gastronomy, which is a hobby, a passion that I have. So we have travel, we have gastronomy. The third one, what do I want to do every day? Honestly, I just want to have space to do nothing. I want to have space to just sit and do nothing. I used to do it back in 2020 during COVID. That's when I really was like, oh, I like doing nothing. I like to sit and just watch the birds, watch the rain falling on the ground, watch the clouds pass by. I mean, I've been through so much challenges and tragedies in my life that peace is priority. And that's something I want for the rest of my life. So we have travel, gastronomy, peace. The fourth one I would say is room to learn. I love to learn. I want to pick up a certification. I want to pick up a research paper and just learn something. And I actually allocate dates for this specific hobby of mine, which is November to March. I find a certification, I enroll in it, I invest in it, I purchase it. If it's free, it's free. If it's paid, it's paid. But I'm learning between the months of November and March wholeheartedly, which is how I came up with a lot of the content on my page. It came from the lessons that I'm taking with me wholeheartedly on my journey. And it ultimately helps me support my clients. Like, you should always be learning. If you're not learning, you are not going to future-proof your success. You're actually going to be extremely behind. You need to learn. So find something you like. It doesn't have to be what everyone else is doing. It has to be what you like, and it will definitely work for you. So we have travel, gastronomy, peace, learning. Okay, the last thing that I want to do every day for the rest of my life. I don't want to put anything out there. Oh, it came to me. Music. I love music. So what do? Whenever I travel, I go to see a show. Yes, this is something I've done in Switzerland. I went to an orchestra, the best experience ever. Because I love it. I really do. I love it. It's part of my hobby. So part of my hobbies, I am also learning ballet. I've been doing ballet like on and off for my whole life, but now I'm finally like actually doing it. And it's just a part of the lifestyle I want to live. So this is where you want to curate your lifestyle, whatever that looks like to you. To be honest, make sure it's for you and nobody else, because by how people perceive me, they think I'm like some model or like some extroverted like party goer, and I'm the complete opposite. I love my peace. I'm almost boring. Almost. Not boring, but almost boring. And I love to learn, and that looks different in so many different ways. My lessons come from my travels. It comes from me eating food, participating in gastronomy. It comes from, going to shows and meeting people. I have friends all over the world now that's curating, and they're all like literally aligned with the visions that I have for myself, which I'm like, whoa. So I'm not that unique, which is great. Life is going to show you that you're not that unique, and there are people out there that love what you love and need what you need and are obsessed over what you're obsessed over and craving what you're craving. And that's why it's so important to be authentic with your legacy. Do not copy anyone. Do not plug into the trends. Do not do it. It is tempting, yes. Sally made $200,000 in 2 weeks. Cool. That was Sally's timeline. Okay? Tap into yours and watch how amazingly beneficial and adventurous and fun your life is going to be. Okay, I digress. I hope that this video introduced you to some ways of thought, to some aspects that you probably overlooked. Stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot more where this came from. the micro steps on how to build a digital legacy, future-proof your success, get unshakable confidence, and actually have a business that funds your lifestyle, okay? It can work for you. If it can work for me, it could definitely work for you. So let's get to work. I am so excited to see your growth.